He should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing. Stevie said he's bullshit, is what he said.
Beefing with Michael Jackson usually ended with people realizing they picked the worst possible person to go against. During the first wave of lawsuits against Michael Jackson, years before he was ultimately found innocent, Eminem dropped Just Lose It and went all in mocking him in the music video. But the moment that really crossed the line was joking about the accident where his hair caught on fire on set, and eventually Fox asked him directly about the beef.
Tell us how that hurt you and how you're feeling about it now.
I've never met Mr. Eminem, and to have him, I've always admired him, and to have him do something like that was pretty painful as an artist to another artist. He should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing. Stevie said he's bullshit, is what he said.
Stevie did, and
he used the word.
He is bullshit.
That's what he said. I mean, I'm not saying it was Stevie said it.
And he somehow managed to sneak in a classy little jab back at Eminem while staying completely calm.
And it was wrong of Eminem to do what he did. I've been an artist most of my life doing what I do, and I've never attacked another fellow artist. Great artists don't do that.
What makes this whole thing even funnier is Eminem later completely switched up in an MTV interview, praising him and basically saying none of it was that serious.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional, but I'm just happy that Michael Jackson is hurting me. You know, the personal things, you know, that was not planned. It was making no personal judgment on Michael Jackson. It was not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was completely meant to be all in.
Michael did end up getting the last laugh, as he literally ended up buying Eminem's catalog. Even though they later became close friends, Mike Tyson and Michael Jackson started off horribly because Tyson was convinced he was getting disrespected from day one, starting at an event where Michael was performing.
I'm with Don King, so he says, let's go see Michael. Michael's playing, he's in Cleveland. I'm behind Don, but as soon as Don King sees them and he sees Don, they go like this. And so I'm with Don, I was thinking, I go like this and Michael put his hands down. I said, no, but I'm conscious about that because I'm insecure. No, he didn't do that to me. Everybody loves me. He didn't do that to me.
And somehow it got even more awkward backstage when Tyson tried saying hello. And this was at Mike Tyson's prime fame, when basically nobody on earth wanted problems with him.
So we get backstage, and Michael's sitting over there by the door, open door, waiting for a car to come pick him up, I believe. Everybody's going nuts about me because I beat Spinks, and it was crazy back then. And I said, let me go say hi to Michael because he's getting ready to leave. And I go up to Michael, I get close. Hey, where do I know you from? You look familiar to me.
That's what you said to Michael?
That's what he said to me. Oh. You look familiar to me, where do I know you from? I like this. I said, oh, that was beautiful, sir. I just left. So I did this, right? So I said, Michael Jackson, I hate this nigga. And so
Tyson held on to that grudge for years, but once Rodney Jerkins told him Michael wanted to see him, the fan in him instantly folded and flew out to meet him.
All those years I was mad at this, right? Rodney Jerkins, he's doing music with him, and he says, hey, Mike, man, I'm here with Mike. Why don't you just come down? I said, fuck, Mike, I don't want to hang out with no Mike. He played me. That nigga played me, Rodney. He said, no, Michael said he wants to see you. I said, you really? He mentioned my name. He mentioned my name. He said, I want to see Mike. He said, yeah. I said, okay, I'm coming. You know, when I mentioned his house, then I learned to respect him. I knew he was a player.
Michael was one of the only bold people to mess with Mike, but after hanging out properly, they became genuine friends, and Tyson has had nothing but respect for him ever since. Paul McCartney has a great story about the first time he met Michael Jackson.
My phone rang, and a little voice, talked to me, and I said, who's this? Kind of guarding my privacy, private number. I said, who's this? It's Michael. I said, Michael who? Because I thought it was, a little bit sort of dodgy. But anyway, he said, Michael Jackson. He said, you want to make some hits? So I said, yeah, sure.
However, things eventually went sour after Paul gave him some financial advice.
He was talking to me and asking my business advice. And one of the things I said to him was, think about getting into music publishing. And then he looked at me, I thought he was joking. He said, I'm going to get yours.
Oh, yeah.
So, I kind of thought, oh, you. But it turned out to be true.
And Paul definitely wasn't joking. Michael actually went out and bought the Beatles catalog, which created tension between them for years. This is Paul explaining the situation to Howard Stern back in 2001 while Michael was still alive.
What I don't like is that I've actually written to him a couple of times.
You wrote him a couple of letters?
Wrote him a couple of letters saying, Michael, don't you think after even if I was just a writer on the payroll, after 30 years of being reasonably successful for this company you now own, don't you think I could have a raise?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, well, that's just business. I said, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've never talked about it. He won't even answer my letters.
Oh, my
so, you know
God.
what? If we haven't got that great a relationship.
To be fair, Michael bought the catalog completely fair and square. The beef eventually cooled off though, and Paul later made peace with the fact that he no longer owned it. While Madonna later claimed that she and Michael were actually great friends, they definitely went through a few turbulent years where they seemed to rub each other the wrong way. Like when Madonna sneak dissed him and Lisa Marie Presley at the VMAs.
Well, what did you think about Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie actually turning up at the beginning? I thought it was interesting the way Lisa Marie curiously turned her mouth away from his.
And Michael also had a few not-so-kind things to say about Madonna after she publicly spoke negatively about him, which he claims started after he turned down her invitation to go clubbing.
Just afterwards, she wrote some mean things about the friends, and I said this is nasty.
They admire you and know you're wonderful and great, but they're jealous because they wish they were in your place, wish they were in your shoes. And M is one of them. Madonna, she's not a nice. She hasn't been kind. Absolutely.
There were also reports that part of the tension came from Madonna allegedly being disrespectful toward Janet Jackson, though that was never officially confirmed. Still, Madonna has continued speaking highly of him over the years, so it's very likely they eventually patched things up. The tension between Michael Jackson and Prince reportedly started after James Brown invited Michael on stage during a show, and after performing for a bit, Michael asked James to bring Prince out too.
Give him a big round of applause because he just insisted that I introduce Prince. Yeah, Prince.
The problem was that Prince was apparently extremely intoxicated at the time, and things quickly turned chaotic once he got on stage. He struggled to perform, and even fell at one point, which later led him to feel like he had been set up. Morris Day later explained the behind-the-scenes story during a podcast.
So Michael comes on stage, does his thing, and then Michael whispers in James Brown's ear. James goes back on the mic and says, "And give it up for Michael, because he insists that I bring up Prince." And then Prince is on the shoulders of his bodyguard, and they bring him up on stage. So then Prince gets up on stage and rips the guitar in half, and then he grabs on this pole that's on the stage, and he thinks it's secure, so Prince falls into the audience. So Prince thought that he was sabotage. I brought Mike to come see me rock with Prince. Prince comes with his bass, and he walks to the section where Mike was in, and he plays the bass in Mike's face. And then after Prince left, Mike says, why was Prince playing the bass in my face? I was like, I think he wanted to, show you respect. He's like, no, he's a meanie.
Still, the situation never really turned into a full-blown feud, and Prince later denied ever having real beef with him during an MTV interview with Chris Rock.
There was never any rivalry between you and Mr. Jackson?
Oh, not to me, no.
That's no fact.
I'm a musician. I live for that. I live for playing and creating songs.
One of the few times Michael Jackson almost looked ready to square up was during this hilarious interaction with Muhammad Ali on live TV.
Say, Jim, you think I could ever float like a butterfly? Bam.
Well,
sting like a bee?
Well, you got the butterfly part down, Brother Michael, and you sing real sweet to complete the cycle. But before you can sting people out of their wits, you gotta put on some meat and keep on eating your grits.
Man, you cold, man.
To be fair, they both had legendary moves.